Hello, welcome to the Villages, Florida. My name is David. I'm a realtor with Florida Realty Investments, and every week we take a close look at what's happening in the real estate market here in the Villages. If you watch the show, you'll get a good idea as to what long-term trends for prices are here and sales and activity. You'll also be able to see the differences between the different regions of the Villages, how the size of the homes differs, and the price per square foot. I have a tool that I'll show you where we can analyze any home you might be interested in, compare listings, for example, in an area to homes that went pending or closed over the last 60 or 90 days. And we can get a very good idea as to where value is, and we can spot homes that seem to be underpriced or overpriced, which is obviously invaluable if you're a buyer. Similarly, if you're a seller, being able to evaluate homes that have either sold or gone pending in your area might give you a very good idea as to the maximum return you could expect in a reasonable period of time. We do specialize in a data-driven approach here, and if you're a buyer looking to find the best deal you can in a specific area of the Villages or a specific type of home, please reach out to us. We'll be happy to show you how our tool can help you easily see the most attractive properties. Also, if you're a seller, this tool will enable you to see what has gone pending or sold in your area, similar sized home, to see what the maximum return you could expect in a reasonable period of time. If you find this information useful, please consider liking and or subscribing to the channel. It really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. And if you'd like to reach us, please either contact me at davidisinflorida@gmail.com or through the website davidisinflorida.com. We primarily focus on real estate and golf in the Villages on the website currently, but we're adding new material all the time. Please reach out to us, connect with us. We welcome all engagement. So, with that out of the way, let's take a look at what's happening this week. We start every week by taking a look at what's happening with the 10-year note yield. This is the U.S. government bond that matures in 10 years, and the yield on this note is the primary determining factor for mortgage rates. Since real estate is usually financed, this is a major factor on the value of real estate. What you're looking at here is a graph that goes back to the beginning of 2020, and over the last 4 years or so, the yield on the 10-year note has moved from under 0.5% to 5%. After dropping back under 4, it's back to 4.5. We're looking at mortgage rates of around 7.5% currently. And looking at this graph, it certainly appears to me as if higher rates lie ahead. What that will do for the real estate market is anybody's guess. So now let's take a look at the Villages itself. This is the entirety of the Villages, and what you're looking at here is every single active listing on the MLS. The size of the circle denotes the size of the home, and the color of the circle denotes its price per square foot. A large, bright circle is a large home, more expensive per square foot. A smaller, dark circle is a smaller home, and it is a lower price per square foot. Just to give you an idea as to how visual this data can be, before we break it down into areas of the Villages, let me show you one other perspective on the same data. Hopefully this will give you a perspective on what this tool can do. What we've done here is have the color of the circle denote the age of the property. So the darkest circles are the oldest properties and the brightest circles are the more recent construction. Interestingly enough, even if you look in the Spanish Springs area, you can see some newer construction. My point really is that with the ability to analyze the data in this way, you can really narrow your search down and quickly spot properties that are underpriced if you're a buyer. So now we're going to go back to all of the active listings in the Villages, and I'm going to show you how I've broken the Villages down into 4 regions. We'll also analyze the regions separately so you can get some idea as to the differences between them. What you're looking at here is the entirety of the Villages. This is the area that I'm calling the North. It's everything south of Highway 42 and everything north of Highway 466. On these maps currently, I'm showing you active listings. This is the area that I'm calling the Mid-North, everything north of Highway 466A and south of Highway 466. Once again, these are only active listings. This is the area that I'm calling the Mid-South, everything south of 466A and north of Highway 44. And finally, this is the area that I'm calling the South, which is everything south of Highway 44. I would note that if you're a buyer looking in the south of the villages, you really should have agents representing you both on VLS and MLS. I believe VLS currently has more active listings than MLS in the south, but even though VLS may have more listings, if you don't have access to an MLS realtor, you won't be able to see the MLS listings for sale, and therefore you may miss an opportunity. Well, we're going to take a look at the different regions of the villages, but before we do, let's take a look at some longer term charts. And this one is an interesting one to start with. This is the total number of listings, which today number 392 in the villages on MLS, up from 380 last week. This is the highest number that we have seen. There were only 348 active listings at this time last year. Currently, homes for sale in the villages range from 122,500 to 1,365,000. Here's a chart that we always have questions about. This is the median listing price for all listings in the villages, up to 262.62 this week from 260.42 last week, but this is still down from the 264.41 that was in effect the same week a year ago. And looking at this chart, it certainly appears as if listing prices have done nothing for the last year. So now we'll start taking a look at the differences between the different regions of the villages. What you're looking at here, once again, all active listings. On the right, total listings in the villages 390, median size 1,527 square feet. The lowest price is 123,000. Highest price is 1,365,000. In the north, 185 properties for sale. In the south, 41. In the north, the least expensive home is 123,000. In the south, the least expensive home, 250,000. We'll dig into the data just a little bit more so you can get a better idea as to the differences between the regions of the villages. Here we're looking at everything broken down by price. You can see how many properties there are at each price. And on the left, you can see for the different regions of the villages how many properties are available at every price point. We're looking at the same information slightly differently here. We're looking at how many properties are available by square footage. So on the right, you can see the entirety of the villages, and on the left, you can see how many properties at each size in each region of the villages. Now we come to a graph that I find personally interesting. This is an attempt to see how much supply is entering and leaving the market every week. We're looking at new listings, the red line, and pending home sales, the black line. Obviously, if more homes are being listed than going pending, then the market should weaken because of increased supply. What we're looking at here is that last week there were 51 new listings compared to 46 the week before and compared to 49 the year before. Number of homes going pending was encouraging, even though it was down last week from 46 to 43. It's still higher than the 32 homes that went pending the same week a year ago. But as you look at this graph and you see that the number of homes going pending is starting to fall, if the number of new listings continues to stay elevated, this market will be in trouble. What we're looking at here is a summary of the previous graph. This just shows us the difference between new listings and homes going pending. The zero line indicates as many homes being listed as going pending. Numbers above the zero line indicate more homes going pending than being listed. But as you see this week, below the zero line, it means that there are more new listings than homes going pending. So let's take a closer look at the homes that went pending last week. The median price was 250,210 compared to 251,05 for the previous week, almost identical to the 251,11 that was the median price for the homes that went pending the same week a year ago. Here's a spot of very bright news. This is the median change from the original listing price for the homes that went pending last week. A 3.85% reduction, vastly improved from the 6.1% reduction that was required of sellers the week before, and substantially better than the 6.82% reduction that sellers were expected to concede the same week a year ago. Now we look at sales. These are the homes that closed last week. They numbered 41, down from 48 the week before. virtually the same as the 39 that closed the year before. Homes that closed last week in the villages ranged from 182,000 to $1,200,000. This is the median price realized per square foot on the homes that closed last week, 253 a foot, up from 249 the previous week, and slightly higher than the 250 even of the same week a year ago. And we return to all listings to look at the state of the market, what percentage of listings have reduced their asking price from the original listing price. Small improvement this week, only 53.32% of listings have had to reduce their asking price compared to 54.47% who had done so the week before. This compares to the 53.45% reduction that sellers were offering same week a year ago. And this is actually the most shocking of all the graphs today and probably should not have buried the lead. What we're looking at here is what the median decrease is for all listings currently in the villages. And the median decrease has set a new low at a 5.37% reduction, worse than the 4.95% reduction that was in effect a week ago, and worse even than the 4.49% median reduction that was in effect the same week a year ago. Looking at this graph, it does appear concerning that sellers have been reducing their asking prices at an accelerating rate. That is this week's look at the village's real estate market. If you're a buyer, please consider consulting with us. I think our data-driven approach will show you why we would be your best advisors in a real estate transaction here. Similarly, if you're a seller, I think our data-driven approach will help you maximize your return in a reasonable period of time. But either way, if you'd like research done or questions answered about life in the villages itself, please reach out to me at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com or at DavidisinFlorida.com, our website. Welcome any interaction. And before I forget, please like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. If you have any questions about the villages, life in the villages, real estate in the villages, or you want research done on real estate here in the villages, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to help. Hope to hear from you. Take care.